Hey guys, Professor Fat Shady from the University of Trials here today with a detailed tutorial on Meteorain, I think it's pronounced, the extreme track in the After the Incident DLC, arguably one of the hardest extreme tracks in the game. I'm going to get into this now. As you can see, new microphone and shock mount. Someone mentioned in the previous video when I raged a little bit and I chucked my controller across the table that they were wearing headphones and were a bit upset with me. So this is for you, whoever that was. Anyway, Meteorain, Pit Viper's extreme track. There is a challenge to do this on the Rabbit in less than 10 faults. I'll have to pick that up in another video. Haven't yet done it. I think I did it in like 11. Got it. Anyway, first technique. Now bear in mind, my detailed tutorials aren't about speedrunning. These are about just helping you to find a consistent way to complete the track. Okay, so that's all I'm going to focus on at the moment. There's a couple of ways you can attack this. The slightly faster way is to try and get a really big bunny hop, do a front flip. If I can get it here, and there you go, something like that, and you can get up and over. I find that to be inconsistent just because of the height of the log. The much more consistent way is to actually just hit the front, there you go, like that. You actually hit the underside of the bike on the log, so hard to the left, lift your front wheel up, hard to the right to get your body weight forward, and then just when you get to that right angle, and you kind of just with a bit of practice, only do that at about, I only just sort of dab the accelerator to start with, you'll get to a point where you just know where you need to be, and all you do then is you just lean forward, wait for the bike to get in the right position, and then when it is, bunny hop off it. Pretty straightforward, but I found it to be a much more consistent way to tackle that first checkpoint. Second checkpoint, I believe, now I'm still figuring this track out myself, but I believe seated position, let's just get this right. No, neutral position. So just standing up, so not seated, not leaning forward, just that nice neutral position. All you really do, accelerate 100% and flick forward pretty much. Let me just get the timing right. Nah, let's do a different way. Alright, what I'm going to suggest you do, as your front wheel gets to the bottom of the ramp, lean backwards. So instead of your wheel sort of, driving into this wooden platform here, what you want to do is lift your wheel up, and then flick your body weight forward. Yeah, that's better. So lift your front wheel up to get rid of this first little bend in the ramp, and then flick your body weight forward. I would only accelerate until your front wheel gets to the top of the ramp, and then I'd let go of the throttle. Keep pushing hard to the right, and what that will do is, so yeah, lift front wheel up there, push forward, and then sit back over the bike, and you should be able to get your rear wheel up onto this ledge. This second part, so I would always suggest you break this up into two sections. From here, seated, very, very gentle throttle control, and all you really need to do is... not that. All you need to do is accelerate hard here because the bike is already, the ramp's already at an angle. Just accelerating hard will lift your front wheel up, and effectively, so you just roll back, accelerate hard, and then fault. Let's have a look. Yeah, accelerate hard, and then lift your body weight forward. You shouldn't have too many issues. Let me know if you need to go over that in more detail. I'll do it once more. I got a few comments from people that are like, that section you said it was real easy and you weren't going to go through it in more detail? That was the part they're struggling with. So anyway, yeah, so sitting here, throttle control to hold yourself, roll back toward the back of the ramp, accelerate 100%, and then just flick the body weight forward once the front wheel lifts off the ground. Similar technique here, but you just want to make sure you get a good run up. This is a big gap, and if you don't attack this aggressively, you won't make it. And just pay attention to where your front wheel is to make sure it clears that gap. But that should just be a matter of rolling backwards while in the seated position, accelerate at 100%, and then flick your body weight forward as you leave the ramp, and that should be enough to get you over the gap. Next section. This one is tricky because there's a sort of barrel on a vertical wall here. The technique you want to do is you want to lean hard over the steering wheel. You want to press, you want to accelerate and press hard to the left as hard and as sort of aggressively and as quickly as you can. What you want to do is get your rear wheel to hit this barrel and have enough traction and to hit it with enough force that it sort of propels you up and over, and then you keep accelerating so your rear wheel will actually hit this platform, or the vertical piece where the front wheel is now, and then you'll get up and over. So let me show you a few times. So here, and the trick here is to lean further back than you would otherwise be comfortable. Didn't want to hit the checkpoint. Lean further back than you would otherwise be comfortable doing. Let me see if I can get down here. There we go. Alright, so yeah, so make sure you don't start close to the barrel. You want to give a good decent amount of space back here. Like I said, lean back as hard as you can and more than you think is necessary, and keep accelerating, and it should be enough. But see, that's what happens if you don't lean back enough. There you go. Now, I'm actually going to pause it here for a quick section to talk about this next technique. One of the and this is where we start getting into some of these more advanced techniques. One of the techniques you're going to need to learn in this track, and there's a few really good advanced techniques to learn here. One of the key ones I would like to suggest now we talk about is when you're going up a steep, almost vertical wall. And obviously what you want to do is when you get to the top, you want to then sort of get your bike up and then over and sort of up onto the upper ledge. The trick here is to tap the brake. So if you can imagine, right, I've got a vertical wall. I'm going to have to use my hands here. Vertical wall here, and you're riding up this way. As you get to the top, as your front wheel clears it, right? So you're still going vertical, right? It's very difficult for you to get that momentum to get you up and over. So as your front wheel clears the ledge, or clears the corner, tap the brake. What the brake does is, if you can imagine, your back wheel grips, and that then forces the bike to go over, and that is the way, I find the easiest way to generate that little bit of rotational force. Combine that with fapping, which we've talked about before, where you hold the accelerator and tap the brake aggressively, ideally with the X or square button on the controller. Combine those two techniques and you've got a really powerful way to go from a vertical wall up to a sort of flat platform up top. There's a few places in the track here we need to focus on this, and this is the first one to teach you about this braking technique. So what you want to do here, as you can see, the ledge on the other side is slightly higher than where we are, so just a simple bunny hop there. But then what you want to do is brake. So, like I said, I mean, there's a couple of different ways to do it. We can't. If you get stuck, all right, you've got the fender grab option, which I just showed here. I'm trying to do. It's hard to get them consistently, but so the fender grab option is an option, right? So this is a fender grab here, where you actually use the back of the fender, the rear fender. And all I'm doing here is holding accelerate, but because of the physics and the way the game is, it's an exploit of sorts, but it's been here forever. What this will allow you to do is hold yourself with a bit of throttle control, and if I accelerate hard now, it will flick me up and over. So watch, up and over, right? That is the fender grab technique. So you flip, get your rear wheel, and just hook that fender on, accelerate, and you should clear it. But the technique I want you to learn is this one where you're going up a vertical wall and tap brake at the end. So like I said, you get up here, tap brake there, and that's enough to get you up and over. Same concept, do it again, up, and tap brake. Now, I'm not saying you have to. There's other ways you can approach this, and I'm sure other very successful ways, but I wanted you to start thinking about tapping that brake. So I kind of use the fender grab as my fallback if I overshoot it. But that's the thing, and I think we'll talk more about that tapping the brake thing in a second. But so yeah, land. So bunny hop, land seated, and then flick your body weight up, and it's just about timing. Like with so much of this stuff, it's about timing. And fapping is so important. Now I've forgotten how to do it. It's always awkward. There we go. Yeah, just want to catch that little bit of brake, and it's such a subtle... Oh, I did this with the Inferno tutorial. I forgot how to do a technique. Fapping's not working. Don't you hate it when your fapping doesn't work? There you go, tap the brake and you're over. Oh no, I forgot. Alright, to the next checkpoint, there we go, brake. Alright, next checkpoint. Now, I will say, the way I just bounced through and sort of skipped from one to the other, I find that to be the most consistent way to approach this this checkpoint, is if you actually hit it in one go. But a lot of the time you're going to fault here, and we need to learn how to do this from a standing start. Key thing here, big bunny hop. Roll back as far as you can, neutral position, bunny hop. And the main thing you want to do is get your rear wheel up and onto this. If you clip your rear wheel on the sort of on the edge of that, like this, you're going to struggle then getting enough momentum to get you up and over. So you really want to get a nice big bunny hop. And then on the second ramp, the technique I use is, instead of just coasting, right? So you watch this. If I just let my front wheel and rear wheel ride the ramp and accelerate at 100%, you see what I mean? It doesn't. Even if I lean backwards a little bit, it doesn't really get you into the right spot. You see how you kind of just land a little bit too flat? Your rear wheel gets caught up on that angle. So what the technique is here is you actually want to almost do a wheelie on this ramp. And then you're up and over, see? What you're doing is, by doing so, you get your rear wheel on there, but lean backwards a little, just a little bit harder than you probably need to. It'll just make sure your rear wheel clears that next gap. And then, so lean forward and, lean backwards here. Like I said, slightly more aggressively. You want to hit your rear wheel down. So I don't think bunny hop there, I think. Yep. And then you accelerate hard. So here we go. Lean backwards. Alright, and the key on that last upward slope, so on this piece, is to. So again, what they've done here is they've made the the angle of the ramp in such a way that if you accelerate 100%, you're probably going to go a little bit too vertical. So what I tend to do is accelerate at 100% to make sure you make the gap, but occasionally I'll let go of the left thumbstick. So instead of pressing hard to the right, I'll just ease off it, and then I'll just lift the front wheel up just slightly. I'm only talking a very small amount here, but if you get here and let the front wheel lift a little bit just there, you'll find that gap is a lot easier. So just try and pay attention to where your front wheel goes. Let go of the left analog stick a little bit, and the front wheel will lift up, and you'll have the ability to get up and over here. This checkpoint, vertical wall, this is where a couple of things will come into play. Potentially that braking technique. Remember I told you when you're going up, you want to tap brake. But also, fapping. Fapping here is really helpful. And fun. That joke never gets old. It's the best thing about it. Anyway, so what you want to do here, probably from a seated position, like I said, when you're in a seated position and you accelerate at 100%, your front wheel has a tendency to lift. I use that to my advantage because you want to try and avoid doing a bunny hop here necessarily. You just want to let the bike do the work. So if I accelerate hard, probably lean back up. Yeah, seated position, lean back, get your front wheel to hit the vertical piece of timber. And then, like I said, when your front wheel is over that corner at the top there, tap the brake just slightly, and then we'll start our fapping. So again, fapping is where you hold the accelerator down 100%, and then tap the X or square button on your controller. Now, usually I use the left trigger for my... I'll try and do some fapping while we're talking. Watch my hands, they're both here. I tend to... Okay, so you want to use the button on the controller for fapping as opposed to the triggers. But triggers are analog, and because of the sort of give they've got in the analog sort of nature of the triggers, you don't get to 100% until you've pressed it all the way in. When you press the digital buttons, you go instantly from 0 to 100%, and that maximizes the effectiveness of the fap. So tap the brake, and we're up and over. You don't have to fap. This one, what you want to do here is a very small bunny hop, but as you do the bunny hop, you also want to be rotating the bike backwards, so pressing left on the left analog stick. You want your rear wheel to hit that platform, and you want to do a nice spring bunny hop straight up and over, like inevitably the third one I show you, like that. Only thing I can really teach you here is the angle. Pay attention to where it is. Your front wheel needs to be up quite high, not too high, and it's just get a feel for it. It should be about 50% up, and I would usually try and tap the brake on the front wheel here to try and stop on this platform if you can. Try not to overshoot it. This one is tough because it's a stupidly steep gap on the other side. Throttle control is the king here. Absolutely, throttle control is king. What I would suggest, so the best tips I can give you here, one, get good at throttle control. It's essential. Two, try and maximize the bunny hop. The higher you go up the ramp, the more ramp you have to roll backwards on to steady yourself, if that makes sense. The other thing I would try and do is say that when you land, you want to try and keep your rear wheel as close as possible. Like you see there, I sort of leant forward too much. There I leant back too much. You need your rear wheel to stay in contact. So pay attention. So whenever you do land, pay attention to where your rear wheel is going and work on minimizing that. What I tend to do is I hit hard with the rear wheel, I accelerate hard to steady myself, but then really soft, and I'm talking crazily soft on the throttle, to try and counteract the tendency to backflip, because that's going to be the biggest challenge you get, is you're just going to be sliding backwards, and then you're going to be sliding backwards, so you just think, well, I just need to just mash the throttle as hard as I can, but what you'll do is backflip because it's so steep. So they're my couple of tips. If you need me to go over it, I can. Yeah, it's really just about practicing that throttle control, and just spend some time. Like, allow yourself to fault out on this with the 500 faults. It doesn't matter. Take your time, learn the technique, and then come back and attempt the silver, gold, bronze, whatever. Next checkpoint. This is probably one of the hardest ones, right? Funnily enough, I have found it to be not that bad, right? Like, I'm straight up there. That's a bit of practice and you can figure this technique out. The way I tend to, so there's a few different ways to approach this. Most of it, again, sorry, ridiculously itchy eye for some reason. Most of it revolves around throttle control, but it is possible to go up here fast-ish if you get the speed right. The big tip for me, is to start from a neutral position and press left, and what you're trying to do is lift your front wheel up just slightly, because if you don't and you try and go in, your front wheel bounces off, and that's what a lot of people will tend to do, is they'll just push forward and just mash the accelerator, and that happens all the time. By hitting back and forward, what you are doing is you're lifting your front wheel off a little bit, and it just minimizes that pushback from the ramp. So, you know, I forget which one of Newton's laws it is, and I'm a bad physicist, but effectively the whole every action has an equal and opposite reaction. For every time you drive into the ramp pushes back on you, and that's what your front wheel experiences. And a lot of the time when you're flipping backwards here, it's because you've hit your front wheel too hard into this ramp. So as the ramp sort of curves up, your momentum's trying to go forward, the ramp's shifting your momentum upward, but because you've let the front wheel hit in, the shocks take some of the pressure and then push you backwards. That's what's making you flip. So if you can start from a neutral position here and just lift your front wheel up over those first couple of sections, you'll tend to find the pushback a lot less from the ramp. And then it really is... It is then just about getting the throttle right, and it is possible to hit this both slow. I tend to like the faster way. Fap at the top if you have to. Let's go. So there's the bit of a fap, and you get up and over. I want to show you the really slow way. That was it. The really slow way is the way you'll see a lot of ninja riders do it on harder obstacles than this, because yeah, I thought originally this was like some crazy ninja obstacle. It's not now. It's just taken me a little while to learn it, and like I said, I'm still not consistent on this. You can fender grab here. I stuffed it, but you can fender grab there. You can brake at the top like we've talked about in this video. Actually, that would have had it. And you can just go super gentle. Fap. Up and over. So, a couple of different ways. The best tip is just getting that start right. And then it's just a matter of experimenting, really. I can't really pinpoint exactly what that is. You kind of need to react to what the track's doing. There we go. There's a fap example. Bad bunny hop, but yeah. Yeah, you need to just react to what the track's doing. I would probably say at the end there, I'm only doing 20 odd, 30 odd %. But it's not as hard as it initially seems, put it that way. Next one. This one's really tough. What I tend to find, so my hot tips here, firstly start from a, let's just show you how to do it. So that was a bad one. Let's go. Nope. So the key thing here, you need to land on the lower platform. That's it. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to talk through it while I figure this out. Alright, what you want to do is you want to get a good, confident bunny hop, but I wouldn't go as hard as you possibly can. You need, it's probably, if I can use the sort of term, a 70-80% bunny hop, you don't want to go full on, because if you land, right, so if I try and do the biggest bunny hop I can, you know, try and get a big run up to a massive bunny hop, a lot of the time I was finding myself sort of overshooting the bottom ramp. You need the run up, so you kind of want to hit low on that bottom ramp, so you can continue your momentum up. Land heavy with the rear wheel, pay attention to what your front wheel is to not hit the log, and what you need to do is just time it. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this, by the way. You want to time it so your rear wheel gets out of the way of the log, but then lands back down. So you kind of need to. It's. Don't think I can recover from that. So like always, the frostbite technique. If you go back and watch that frostbite third checkpoint tutorial, it teaches you how to sink into a slope, and this is very much the same technique. It's actually that checkpoint on drugs though, because you've got that log in the middle, but it's the same technique. You want to land into it, you want to bunny hop up to the log, and then just get a bit of a push off that log, and enough of a push to get you up onto that platform, and then just a bit of throttle control up and over. Last checkpoint here, pretty easy. I would probably accelerate it maybe 50-60%, maybe 60%. Bunny hop, tap of the rear wheel, and you're over. I probably just do it from a neutral position. The key part is to just get the angle right, so when you do land on the this platform, you're at the right angle on both of those points to get a good bunny hop and a good spring jump and bounce. Look, that's about it. What I might do, actually, so let's go on. Alright, so anyway, that's the tutorial. That's 23 minutes. It's probably too long. Let me show you a replay now. So I've been criticized about my tutorials in the past when I don't show replays of good guys. Now I don't want to get a top leaderboard time, because what's the point? But let's go and just find a, maybe a slow platinum, for example. Whoa, not that many platinums. Quarter tom, actually a minute 30. All right, let's go with a minute 30 quarter tom platinum medal run. This will be, and I tend to find the slow platinums good. What did I? Whoa, Professor Fat Shady pressing the wrong buttons. Yeah, I tend to find the slow platinums are really good guides, because they're clean in that you can watch someone You know, you don't have to watch someone go through 50 faults, but they're messy, and it'll be probably closer to your own riding technique. So let's have a look what he does. So yeah, rear wheel bounce there, good one off there. Let's see, weight forward, yeah. Ah, so he does that, does he? Fair enough. Tap of the brake there, so that. Again, tap of the brake to bring the bike up around. This you'll do in one motion. Lean forward, lift the front wheel a bit. From a seated position, tap brake again, bit of a fap. Big bunny hop, nice spring. Fap, 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 fap. I love watching Quarter Tom fap. It never gets old. It's like the joke that keeps on giving. Awesome throttle control. Now watch. Let's see if he lifts his front. Yeah, he lifts his front wheel just there. So he goes to the slower approach, but watch, he just eases off and then faps the... Oh no. Okay. This is why slow platinums are good. You see their mistakes, but watch them recover. Same stuff up again. All good. And you can recover this one. This, as tough as this obstacle is, you can save this. And the platinum time. Look, I mean, Quarter Tom's done this, and he's still 30 seconds faster than the platinum time. So a lot of the time with these hard tracks, the platinum time isn't your issue. It's just 0 fault. So make a mistake. Good bunny hop there. See, and look at him. He slows it down every checkpoint. Treats it as an individual challenge, and doesn't worry about doing it as a speed run. And I think that's the problem. I tell you, the nerves, mate. At the end there, you can just see the nerves of wanting to get that last jump right. So that is very helpful, Quarter Tom. I would strongly suggest pay close attention to that type of replay. So on whatever platform you're on, look at the slowest platinum you can find, and it'll be a really good way to understand what to do. Now I'm just going to smash this out a little bit. Let's see if I can get a half decent run in. No, I can't. Rubbish. I've been a little bit quiet on the video front. I was over in Western Australia at the time of recording this about a week ago to go and watch a real life trials event, which is awesome. Hopefully have some good and interesting video content coming up soon about that. Posted a video today of me eating a fly, so that was fun. Tap a brake. Watch, let's try and do this in one hit. Bounce. Nice. Nah. Recover. Nope, stuffed it. That does suck. You know what? That was nerves. That was like, oh my god. I was thinking about it. I was like, how awesome would it be if I did a 0 fault run at the end of my tutorial, and when I recorded it all live and stuff, and someone would make me a cake and it'd be awesome. You know why I'm stuffed up there? Because this would have still been personal best. I'm miles off now. I think 4 faults is still my personal best. Anyway, that's not bad. So I reckon, look, I'll have the platinum there at some point. I just need to put in the time. 29 minutes. I always worry these things go for too long. A lot of people tend to find them helpful. This is a very tough track. I will give it the respect it's due. Hopefully there's been some good tips in there. If there's any comments or questions you guys have got, by all means go and watch this video again, go and watch the replays of other people. Like I said, slow platinum, really good thing. Or even if you're going for a gold, go for the slow gold replay, and you'll probably come up with some really good ways to approach it. Take your time, break it down checkpoint by checkpoint, or even half a checkpoint by half a checkpoint. Get a consistent technique and then gradually build up your speed. Don't even worry about speed at the moment, just focus on minimizing faults. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I will try and make some more video content, plenty of stuff planned. My little laundry list is getting bigger by the day, so I will make sure I start making some more stuff. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you guys soon.